Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the stock market update video. And today we'll be doing the same thing. So we'll be doing commodities as well as the 7 mega cap tech stocks together. So it'll be natural gas, UNG, gold, silver, and QQQ, S&P 500, as well as Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. I am back from south of France, and I am currently pretty sick, so I lost half of my voice. So I'll be doing this as fast as I can, but let's get started. And I'll show you guys a video of me in South France, as I told you guys when I didn't have internet back there, so I couldn't upload anything. But this is just me in south of France, where I was at Cavalier, and it's gorgeous there. And there was just this mini hotel there on the side and on the coast, and there's just one hotel there, and everything else surrounding it is all residents, and it just so happens to be the view of the restaurant. And yes, yeah, I would definitely recommend if you guys ever go down there to check out if you guys like nature and stuff. So yeah, let's get started in the markets. So let me go to natural gas first. So if you guys don't want to skip to any tickers or symbols, I put the timestamps in the comments, and you can just click the timestamp and it'll jump to your particular stock symbol if you like. All right, let's get started. So natural gas, remember talking about it last week, where we have to bounce off of this green looking line. You can see it was acting as resistance, and now it's acting as support. So on that Wednesday, I said this is pretty much where bulls need to defend it, and surprisingly they did. So we bounced exactly off of that line, and then after that, we had to look at the maroon looking line. So this one, this big looking wedge. So you can see that we rejected here, and rejected here as well a million times. So now we broke out of the first one on this candle. When we broke out of that one, you can see we had increasing volume, which is good. So we want to see bull volume increase when we break out. That gives the bulls more confident for follow through. And that's essentially what we got. So when we broke out, we went straight to testing this next resistance, this one right here. And we broke out of that one as well. You can see also the increasing bull volume. So both of those are good signs. So we had a pretty darn good week here for natural gas traders, and we went straight to that $3 resistance that I talked about, where it's the last resistance that natural gas bulls want to test. So we are quite exhausted, I would say, from that move. It was a 22% move in 5 days. So bulls need a little bit of break. It makes sense. We had a pullback, and especially we hitting the last level of resistance there on that $3, because I talked about where if we do break that $3, there isn't that much resistance above us, especially with this move right here, because of the lack of volume. And the less volume in one area, the easier to cut through it, regardless if we're going up or down from it. So this is the area where there's a little bit of volume versus down here. You can see you have a cluster of just everything traded here. So it's harder to cut through those resistance and supports based on the volume. But we didn't get over 3, so we're testing it. This pullback is a little bit bigger than I liked in one day, but the good news for the bulls is that we're starting to shape up a trend change. So I was talking about it back here where it's a daily downtrend. So it's still a daily downtrend over here. Even if we bounced this much, we have negated the daily downtrend, but we're still in a neutral trend. We are not in an uptrend yet because we have not changed the trend yet. This is the initial move. This is the pullback. Now the pivot is likely set. Let's see. Let's take a look at the hourly first if it's set. We haven't hourly uptrend yet, so we can't say that's the pivot being set on the daily. But we do bounce off of the 12 EMA, and we bounce off of this prior resistance line. Right, you can see it was acting as resistance, resistance. Now it should act as support when price comes above it and coming back to retest it. So as holding bulls holding this level, when we broke through and came back, bounced back above it, is a good sign. So now I would say probability of the bulls bouncing from here is higher than dropping from here because take a look at the Fibonacci retracements. We have retraced close to 50. We bounce back above the 50, so that's a good sign as well. We don't want to close below the 50. If we do close below the 50, it's going to start favoring the bears on the next bounce that they can bring things down because of the size of the drop. As of now, the size of this move bounce, and we bounce back above the 50, and this resistance line, where it's now acting as support. All three of those will give us the probability of bulls bouncing here slightly higher and bears bringing it down. So as of now, it's favoring the bulls, for my opinion. So we'll see if we get that on Monday. Bounce back up here, and we'll see where it goes because it'll likely need to test this 2.8 again over here because of these levels. Take a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, I want to see. First step I want to see is the bulls getting back there 1 hour. So let's say we bounce and then change the trend back to the hourly uptrend for now. As of now, we are in an hourly downtrend, so we'll see if the bulls can take it back. And weekly, it was interesting because this was a remember I talk about where it's a break on one side lacking follow through. Most likely scenario, we're gonna go the other side. So when I was talking about this, we don't want to break this weekly pivot right here, that 2.484 low. We ended up breaking it. So the bears broke that pivot, negated the weekly uptrend, changed the weekly trend to a neutral trend, but they lack absolute zero follow through over here. See, because when they break it, they should have taken it down to this level, this 2.37. They didn't, and that was a sign where bears lacking follow through means bulls are gonna take over and go to the other side. We'll see if the the bulls can get their daily uptrend back. So what we need to do is bounce and then break above this Wednesday high, 2.959, and that will confirm a daily uptrend back to the bulls. The bears, you definitely want to break below this maroon looking line and close below it, as well as breaking that 50% Fibonacci retracement. If you close below here, then that's already a break. Then on the next bounce, it'll favor you guys for the daily downtrend. All right, UNG, very similar. You can see when natural gas bounce, UNG obviously is going to bounce because it tracks each other. And we tested this 8.12 level as well when natural gas tested 3. And currently, it's still in a neutral trend as well. It is just one straight move, and now it's setting the pivot. So I want to see it break this Wednesday's high as well for a daily uptrend to confirm. Very similar to natural gas, just one. And so if you're trading UNG, or Boyle, it's leverage 2x, meaning if UNG goes up, let's see here, UNG goes up 1.62% on Tuesday, August 8th, Boyle will go up double that. So you can see 3.22%. And KOLD is the short side. So 1 second, cough. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. And KOLD is the short side. So it will go down 3.2%. So it's a 2x, right? So whatever UNG does, it will 2x on each side, depending if you're shorting or going long on it. All right, let's take a look at gold. So dollar has been super strong. So it's a headwind for gold and silver and all the metals. And you can see, let's take a look at gold, dollar real quick. Yeah, so it's just been straight bouncing pretty much nonstop. You can see every day it's green pretty much. So you can see it's the inverse correlation of the of gold. See every day is pretty much red, and it's coming to a support now. Support is down here, 1909 level. So we'll see if it bounces or not. But with dollar being so strong, it might continue being weak. So we have to watch the dollar over time. Um, Otherwise, it's shipping up a daily downtrend already here, and it's continuing, it's still going. So no signs of reversal yet. You can see even on the hourly is on an hourly downtrend, and there's zero signs of reversal. Every bounce is lower than the prior highs. Bounce lower than this high, right? Bounce this high is lower than this high. So that means it's a trend. So it's still trending in the downward direction. If the hourly doesn't get back to the bulls, you need to be on the bear side, because the very first step from a trend change perspective, you want the hourly change to back to your favor. Silver, very similar, exactly. Silver is just more volatile than gold, but they trade pretty similar. So same thing. Dollar being weak, strong, so is a headwind for silver as well. And now we're heading to pretty much support here, but still no signs of reversal as well. See, we zoom into the hourly. It's not even moving; it's just chopping around, and it's still in an hourly downtrend, as well as daily downtrend as well. So daily downtrend formed over here, so still continuing. And I just keeping watch on the dollar. There's a lot of macro going on with the dollar lately, so the dollar has been strong, and dollar is in a uptrend on the daily here. But it's starting to come to test this resistance, so we'll see if we can get over this level or not. All right, let's take a look. All right, QQQ, I'm looking at a 4-hour falling wedge right here. See the Murray looking line? We had a bull trap here where we broke out of it and came straight back into it. Still intact, falling wedge. All right, so we'll see if we'll see how Monday goes. We're getting really tight to the end of the pattern, so we'll falling wedge in a bull market usually breaks bull because of how strong this initial move is, and we just falling wedge and then break out of that. Probably gonna break out of this, and then even if we break out of it, we could potentially come back to test this level, this 371, and then if the bears want to take over again, we can potentially go down this. But we do still are in a daily downtrend. So I remember talking about it last week where we confirmed our very first daily downtrend right here for the very first time in like 4 months. And you guys know that I always talk about follow the trend, right? So remember we're in an uptrend here. Even the macro telling us that we don't want to be in an uptrend. We just want to follow the uptrend. So we have been playing the uptrend for months, but now we have our trend that going down here. We can just play on the short side until the chart shows us otherwise. As of now, we don't even have the hourly trend back in favor of the bulls. So if I do see an hourly trend change back to the bulls, and we break out of this wedge, then we can potentially shape up this daily pivot low. As of now, no signs of that yet. So we'll see if they can do that tomorrow. Bulls. But it's very normal for market to drop 5-6%. It does it 3 times a year, roughly, statistically. So no big deal. We had one back here. This was 8%, right? So it's very common throughout a year to drop 5%, at least 3 times a year. 10% ones we usually get once a year or once every other year. So yeah, none of these pullbacks are healthy. Even the strongest bull markets, we see them all the time. So just yeah, just know that they're very common and play with the trend. And if you're holding long-term positions in your really good stocks like the mega cap, Apple's, Amazon, then you have nothing to really worry about. As short-term traders, we want to look at these trades and follow the trend. Sp500, same thing. This is a daily downtrend confirming, and holding a lot stronger because tech is the weakest at the moment, and same thing with semiconductor sector. But other sectors like healthcare is holding up SPY at the moment. So SPY is not as weak as QQQ. it makes sense. Whoever leads the way up, like you did, goes up more, it's gonna come down more. And SPY, which went up less, it's gonna go down less because of other sectors holding it. So depending on your playing style, if you like more volatile, you play QQQ or the semiconductor sector, and like less volatile, then you play the SPY. But yeah, it's pretty much sitting right at support, bounce off of it, 443. It needs to hold. You can see this was resistance, 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 and now it's acting as support. If that breaks, it's gonna come down to fill this gap at 442.97. And if that breaks, we're coming down to 438. All right, Nvidia. Nvidia is one of the weakest after Apple and Microsoft reported its AI news, and it topped out. So AI is a little bit overused news now. So that's why most of this stocks related to AI is selling off a little bit. So speeding up a little bit once we confirm the daily downtrend right here on this Wednesday, August 2nd, you can see Nvidia has been a lot weaker, relatively weaker compared to other stocks. In the last 3 days, it's a 9% drop. And we have a longer term trend line here where bounce, 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 bounce. So that may potentially be where Nvidia wants to head to, which coincides with this level of support. Another 10% away. 1 second, excuse me. All right. So yeah, it's 9% away. But we still have a couple of resistant supports down here. 404 is going to come first. 400 is going to be the psychological support. And then we're coming up to this 394 level because look how many times we rejected from that. Resistance, resistance, resistance over multiple times here. So when you first come down here, it's definitely going to bounce. I'm not saying it's going to bounce like that, but it's definitely going to like bounce and then try it again. So we'll see if the semi bulls will show up or not. Now the semiconductor is the weakest sector of all, and then it's QQQ. So the tech's being pretty weak lately. So we'll see how it goes. Tesla is holding by a sliver. Is almost filling the gap, but bounce. So it's getting there. So you can see we don't have a lot of support down here. So not a lot of support over here. Bulls really need to hold that. If the bears cannot fill this gap, that means bulls are definitely playing strong defense here. So that's a good sign. But we're still in daily downtrend over here. Daily downtrend, hourly, still in hourly downtrend. Hourly has not shapen up back to the bulls yet. But actually, let's see here. Bounce. Nope. Count this as one straight move. So bulls need a big enough bounce where they can shape up the hourly trend change back to their favor. Otherwise, bears are currently still in full control because even the shorter time frame hourly is not in bulls' favor. So it's good that they held this level, like they bounce off of it. But you can see it right here as well, right? Monday you could have been like, oh, we bounce off of this level support, and it's looking good. The little doji wick. But the next thing you know, we're down here, right? When we don't have trend changes back to your bulls' favor or bears' favor, we can't say it's a solid bounce yet because this was a solid bounce, right? But then it sold it all off. You can say this is a solid small bounce, but it could just sell it all off as well. So you want to see a trend change back to bulls' favor in the hourly for us to say we can say that can potentially mark the daily chart's bottom pivot. Right? As of now, no signs of that yet. All right, Apple. So on Apple, when it formed its daily downtrend, it also had its earnings reaction. So it was a technical plus a fundamental. So right here from the top of this move, bounced. We didn't make a new high. So that's the pivot set now. That's the lower high, meaning this high is lower than the prior high. And we broke the daily downtrend right there on Thursday during Thursday trading hour. So that's a technical, right? It's very first daily downtrend since any of us can remember. It's all the way back to February, so March-ish. That's like 5 months ago. So when we had this technical daily downtrend confirming, and that Thursday they reported earnings after hours. So it's fundamental plus technicals on the bear side happened at pretty much the same day, and so we got a huge sell-off, and so we have another 7% sell-off after that daily downtrend confirming. Erase that real quick. Yeah. So now what are we looking at? It's holding this 177 level support, but it's still not looking great for the bulls at the moment. Because we sold off literally from the top to the bottom 10%, and we barely even bounced. So that's still notable signs of weakness. So we zoom into the hourly to see if there's any signs of bulls at the moment. And not really, because you see even on the hourly candles, there's barely any bounces. But you can say over here, this was a slight hourly uptrend. Let's see, did we break? No, it's not. We haven't broken. Nope, it's a double top. No, not one. We did not. So this candle had to break above this one, 178.64. So it didn't. So if we can break that on Monday, then that's an hourly uptrend confirmed. But as of now, nope, broken that yet. So it was like a wedge here. It's like dropping. Yeah, it's like a falling wedge. Be a 4-hour bear flag. Let me look, see if it's a 4-hour bear flag. Yep, looks exactly like a 4-hour bear flag. Let's see here. Top of the move, bottom of the move. Did even bounce over 0.382. So you need to bounce over this to negate the bear flag. So we didn't even come close. We only got to 0.23, so that's still a 4-hour bear flag. So if this confirms breaks below, that's a 4-hour bear flag confirming. So super weak. And so if you Apple bulls that you want to add, I mean, you could. Long term wise, if you're holding for years, it's going to be higher than here in years. But I would wait till this bear flag gets resolved before you want to add. Maybe you can get something like bear flag break and then V shape because of how oversold this is. But then you gotta ask yourself, maybe the broader market QQQ itself might go down, 3% more before we bounce. I wouldn't say we're gonna go down like another 10%, but I don't want to be predicting those kind of things because nobody really knows where the market is going to drop in that kind of magnitude, right? But it's very common for a market to drop between 5 to 10% during those years. So yeah, we're roughly around 6%. So potentially, if we have more weakness, maybe another 3% in QQQ, right? Which would be another 1.5, 1-ish on SPY. So maybe we can get a bear flag flush to potentially 173, maybe 170, and then V shape for Apple, but we'll see. Now, no signs of bounce yet. So you want to look at the hourly chart for hourly uptrend. But all right, Amazon. Let's see, Amazon looking decent, just fading pretty darn well actually compared to how much the market dropped. Q has dropped over 6%. Amazon only dropped 4.3. Usually Amazon drops more than QQQ, so it's holding very well actually. This was the daily uptrend confirmed right when we broke that high because you can see this low was higher than this low. So that's going to be the pivot set. And then obviously this high is higher than this high. So that's a daily uptrend confirmed from Amazon. And it's just hitting. And there's no, still an uptrend because you need to break all the way down here for a downtrend to confirm. But this is just one straight move. But if it bounces above the prior candle and then closes below, that's still a daily downtrend confirmed. As of now, no signs of that yet. It's just fading with the market, but fading a lot stronger. So it's relatively strength. Zoom into the hourly. Yeah, you can still call this a, let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bull flag anymore. It's here. Yeah, technically we broke below it, 0.382, but still strong. I'd say it's a decent, just needs to change his trend back on the hourly, back to the bulls. So hourly trend is your guide. You see this hourly still in the downtrend. As of now, no signs of trend changes yet. But if we do see a big enough bounce, whether it's this bounce and bulls hold Friday's low, right? Above Friday's low, and we set that pivot, and then we break above this Friday's high, this 139.33. This is an hourly uptrend back, confirmed back to the bulls. And then this could potentially, if that happens, then it's probably going to come back up here to test these highs right here again. This high is pretty much the last boss on the chart. You guys can see back here where this structure is low. Pretty much just came to it, bottom of that low. Maybe this will form a weekly cup and handle, and then retest for this high. This structure's high, so we'll see. All right, Google. Google also stronger. You can see barely dropped. Yeah, 3.8%. Google and Amazon had decent earnings, so that's why they're relatively stronger. Also an uptrend as well. This starting to shape up a little bit iffy. Might shape up at equilibrium, just like tighten up. But if we break below Thursday, Thursday is lows 127.42. This lows break, it's daily downtrend confirmed for Google. As of now, bulls play defense here, held it. So this might shape up a equilibrium tightening range, and before it wants to break. But so should watch for this level right there, 127, because if that breaks, daily downtrend confirmed. You can see we rejected from this 131 multiple times. So I want to see Monday if the bulls will break above this level again, or it's going to reject from it again and from that equilibrium. So if we bounce, reject from it, it'll just tighten up into a even tighter range. Then it'll break that from volatility. Is it now still looking okay? Let's check the hourly. Yeah, hourly's still in a downtrend. Small one. It's not like that big of a deal, but see if we can break this triple top right there on the 131 level. Or it's going to break this, then we'll have a daily downtrend. Microsoft. Microsoft, same thing. Like Apple, very weak. This was that AI news that I was talking about, marking the top for Microsoft and Apple. Same candle as Apple's. Apple was right here, this one. So yeah. Once Microsoft confirmed its daily downtrend as well, didn't look back. It's just been confirmed right there on these Wednesday, July 26th. And it's just, I was talking about where this was a big enough drop where the next bounce could shape up a daily downtrend, and we did. And we are still trending down on it. No signs of reversal yet. see on the hourly, you don't have see any signs of reversal as of yet. So Microsoft is still in full bear control. This bounce is not that big enough yet for us to trend change. I mean, even if it did, if it bounced back above it, then we change the trend. But it needs to break above 322.33. So we'll see if they can do that or not. And it's getting pretty close to its next level of support. 318 up, but it does not have a lot of support down here because of how thinly traded we came up from it. It's more of a one straight move. So on 3, it's next level of support. Got a bunch here though. So if we do come down to these least levels, this area will act as really strong support. As now, I don't see that yet because that's quite a bit of ways. That's still another like 3.6%. So QQQ needs to really drop for that to happen. All right, let's take a look at Meta. Meta has been one of the strongest, but now it's shaped up its daily downtrend as well. Over here, should move, bounce, broke that daily downtrend at the August 9th, right there when we broke below this pivot. And that kind of confirmed the daily downtrend. And on August 10th, on Thursday, we bounced to retest that teal looking line, this 12 EMA. Remember I said it keeps on bouncing off of it here? Back over here, forever. Just use it as your guide, support. Now it's going to act as resistance. So bulls bought it up, back test it, rejects from it. Hence the next day you can see it sold off because it rejected from the 12 EMA. So now we're looking back to Meta, probably going to 300 to test this psychological support, which it did on Friday, 300. It didn't really bounce that much. We pretty much ran out of time. So we'll see if it actually holds tomorrow. We'll try to play defense here, but we didn't bounce anywhere and still trending down on the hourly downtrend. So no signs of bounce yet at all. So we're probably going to come down to break that and test this 298 and 299 area. I used to act as support now. If we do break that, then we're coming back down to 289, 3.7% away. Yeah. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I am gonna go rest my voice. Hopefully, I get better by Wednesday, so I can do an extra long video for you guys. And yeah, have a great rest of you guys' weekend, and see you guys around.